right, good morning and welcome to our Naviance workshop with Justin Pruitt.
All right, guys, thanks for joining me. Today, I want to take you through Naviance. It is a college and career exploration website. It is a free service to all of our students. Access to Naviance is pretty easy. I want to go over the access first. All you have to do is log into your student Google account, click on your waffle. From the waffle, you will scroll down and you'll find the Naviance button within the Google waffle, and you'll click that. It might ask you to confirm your Google credentials, which would just be your student ID, Gmail account, your student Google account. You would do all that, log you in, and then after you do that, it's going to take you to the Naviance home screen. For students, it'll look something like this. From this page right here, you will have, this is called your home screen. It'll say your name. It's going to know who you are. And that's one of the cool things about Naviance is it is tied to you as a student. So unlike other places where you might be able to browse colleges or careers or things like that, you have the ability to like and save things in Naviance, and it'll remember those things. So if you see a college you think is kind of cool or you're interested in, or a career or something you're kind of interested in, you can use a little heart icon and save it, and it'll remember that. So next time you come back, you can go look at kind of what it is that you'd saved or liked from a previous visit to Naviance. So once you're in, it's really simple navigation. And being that your generation has grown up on the internet, you know how to navigate websites. It's just like anything else. So at the top has the different options, and we're going to go over the first one, which is self-discovery. Self-discovery, I'll click on that. From here, I'll click the self-discovery home. It's going to give you some different options. Depending on what grade you're in, it's going to have different options here for these self-discovery surveys. And these surveys are just question and answer about different things that are going to give you a little bit of insight about yourself. So the first one we see is, it's called intelligence. It just lets you know what are some things that you might be good at based on the way you answer the questions. The next one is, it's like a learning styles inventory. So it can teach you the way that you're going to be most productive when it comes to studying, things like that. So it'll ask you questions about, like, I like a quiet environment, or I like music. I need to have food with me when I study. But you'll answer these questions and it'll give you some indicators on kind of a plan to help you become the best studier and develop your study practices to suit you as an individual. And so you can just go through this and you can see the different types of things. We have a career cluster finder. We have career interest profiler. So it's going to give you results based on the way you answer those questions. So each one is a little bit different. Each one asks you different questions, but ultimately it's going to give you results based on the way you answer those questions. So if you're answering them truthfully, then it'll give you truthful answers. So all you do is click start assessment, and then it tells you a little bit more about it, how it works. It's going to take you 15 minutes. There's 60 questions. Then it's going to give you your Holland code, which is like a personality trait code. It's going to map that to careers that you might be interested in based on how you answered those questions. So if you tell it that you hate being indoors and you don't like working on computers, it's not going to say, hey, you should look at computer engineering. It's going to show you some jobs or some career paths that might be outdoors. They might not involve technology. So it's all catered based on what you, how you answer those questions. So from self-discovery, a lot of these things are going to put you into different career paths or clusters, or give you an idea of where to start. So this is a great starting place. If you already have an idea of some careers that you might be interested in, I'd encourage you to click on the career tabs, and you can come right here to explore careers. And from here, you can look at specific careers. And it's A through Z. Right now, I can sort it by the education level required. I can also, and then you'll see right here, education, so a graduate or professional degree. So that's additional college that is required after your 4 years of a bachelor's degree. So remember, 2 years in college is an associate's degree, 4 years in college is a bachelor's degree, and then beyond that, they call it graduate or professional. So you'll see these have pretty high salaries, and that's usually tied to the level of education that's required. So to be a chief executive, you usually have to have quite a bit of education and experience. Chief executive is like the person who's in charge of the top of a company. So the chief executive of Nike has tons of experience working in Nike. He probably has several master's degrees in leadership and business and these other things. So he makes more money because he's more valuable as a human resource to that company. You can also just straight search by salary. And again, you'll see a lot of these same things. So doctors, family practitioners. So that's just like the general doctor that you would go see if you have a cold or an ear infection. You can see their median salary is higher because it requires more education. So if I just go back and let's say I know something that I'm interested in. Personally, I think that graphic design is really cool. I've seen all these new like basketball jerseys coming out and the new football jerseys, album covers, movie posters. I find like the designs and how they put those together just fascinating. I wish I had that skill set. So I'm gonna just type in graphic design, and I'm gonna click go, and it shows me graphic designers. So I can see right off the bat, four-year college is usually required. And that's because in college, if you go to college and you major in graphic design, you're gonna learn all the skills and tools of graphic design. So all the different software and hardware that you use to design, you'll learn about marketing, you'll learn about advertising, you'll get a wide breadth of education about graphic design. If I click on it specifically, I can see an overview that tells me what it is. I can see the education at a glance. I can come down and read about what they do. I can see what the different wages are across the United States. So these are like average wages. So they take the top earners and they take the lowest earners. So lowest earners would be entry-level jobs. So people who are just starting in it. And then top earners are going to be the people who are at the top of a company when it comes to graphic design. And you can see that depending on where you live or where you work, the wages change. Don't let the income discourage you from exploring something, because remember, this is the average. So there's going to be half the people make more than this, and then half the people will make a little bit less than this. So it goes down and it continues to tell you more about people who do this career. They're usually artistic, they're realistic, and they're enterprising, and it tells you what those things mean. You can find related careers, and then you can find related majors. So this is a really cool thing that you can use. Once you find a career you're interested in, you can search colleges based on that major. So now I can click this right here where it says graphic design, and it's going to show me colleges that have graphic design majors. So there's 839 of them. I'm going to come back to that in a minute. But if I go back to careers, and let's say I don't know something specific, and I want to look at clusters and pathways, I can say, I don't know exactly what I want to do, but I know I'm really interested in, let's say, science, technology, engineering, and math. So now I can look at these different pathways. So sciences or engineering. Let's look at engineering. Now it's going to show me a bunch of different careers that are related to engineering. As soon as it loads. Oh, couldn't load that page. Here we go. So now these are all these different types of clusters. So I've already favorited this, so it's already kept it. I can look at related majors. I can look at related occupations. So let's take a look at aerospace engineers. We know that we live in an area where there's a ton of aerospace jobs. I can come and I can read about that job. And I can come down here and I can look. These people are usually investigative, they're realistic, and they're a little artistic because they have to be creative in their thought. I can click here and I can look at the different majors that have aerospace engineering as a major. So I just found this career based on looking at the cluster of the idea of just engineers in general. And it's going to show me all the different jobs or careers that are related to engineering. And then I can fine tune it from there and look at specific jobs. I found that specific job. I clicked on the majors that are associated with that job, the college majors. And now it's given me a list of college universities that have an aerospace engineering bachelor's degree. From here, I can even refine this, right? It's giving me about 90 different colleges. And these are going to be from all over. But I'm a West Coast is the best coast guy. I've been all over the United States. I do not like cold weather. I do not like flat lands. I love California and I love the West Coast. So I'm going to sort these out based on location. So you have all these different things that you can sort them out based on. For me, location is really important. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to look at Arizona California, Oregon, and Washington. Those are the only places I'm interested in going. You might say, I'm interested in going to the East Coast, and then you could select schools on the East Coast. So once I have those schools selected, I'll come back and I'll view my matches. Great, I've narrowed it down to 15 schools now that fit my criteria, that have my major and are in those 4 states that I selected. Here's a list of them. So Arizona State in Tempe, University of Arizona, that's in Tucson, California Institute of Technology, Cal Poly Pomona. So let's check out Cal Poly Pomona. When I click on that, it's going to take me to that college's landing page, and I can see some basic information about it. From here, I can communicate directly to them. I can send them an email and ask for admissions information. I can see an overview. If I scroll down, it's going to give me a link to their website. It's going to let me know a little bit more about it. I can look at the GPAs of students who tend to get in. So students who tend to get in are between a 3.4 and a 3.83 GPA. These are their average test scores. So you can see it's a little bit higher above the national standard. So Cal Poly is a little bit competitive. I click on the admissions, I can see the acceptance rate is at 55%. So that means if 100 kids apply, 55 of them will end up getting in. But it's not just 100 that apply, it's going to end up being like, 10,000, because remember, people from all over the country are going to apply. I can look at the student life. And after I look at all these things, I can say, you know what? I like this school. I want to remember this school. I'm going to click the heart, and it's added it to my colleges that I like. See, colleges I'm thinking about. So now next time I come into Naviance, I can come here to careers, remember, because we looked at careers, and I can look at careers that I favorited last time I visited. And so I've favorited aerospace engineering, computer hardware engineering. So all these different things, wind operation management, for like wind turbines and things like that, petroleum engineers. And then I've also liked some clusters. So it's remembered those things because I use the little heart icon. I can also click the colleges tab and click the colleges I'm thinking about. And you can see there's 2 schools that I've already put a little heart on. I've already tried to remember. And that's Cal Poly Pomona and Cal State University Chico. So now from here, if I wanted to go look at Chico again, I just click on that. And it takes me to Chico. So we looked at the careers, but now if we just look at the colleges, if I just come back home and I just want to explore colleges, let's say I already know what career I want to do, or I already know I want to skip the career part and I just want to look at the colleges. I can click on colleges and I have a couple different options. So one of the things that I really like is College Supermatch. It lets you kind of like think of like building a dating profile. It lets you do that based on your criteria. So you set the criteria of what you want the college to have, and then it returns a list of colleges that has the thing that you liked. So you can start here at the top and you can work your way through. So if I look at location, let's say I do want to go to the Northeast. And if I want to look at the different academic programs, I want to make sure they have a bachelor's degree. When I look at the majors, let's say I can scroll or I can start to type in, but if I just come down here, and let's scroll down, let's look at agricultural engineering. And then let's look at the admissions rate. I want them to have, I'm going to clear out my GPA, or I can leave my GPA. I want them to have a reasonable admissions rate. I can look at student life, and I have all these different options. So student life is like, do they have fraternities and sororities? I can look at diversity. So let's say I want to look at Hispanic serving institutions, and let's just leave it there. So based on what I've given it, it's given me 4 selected criteria. I have no institutions that meet all of that criteria. I think part of that is the Hispanic serving institutions in the East Coast are pretty rare. So if I remove that and I remove my acceptance rate and I just get a bigger net, now I have 2 institutions that meet my location and they have my major. So the University of Maine, and I can click Y, It has my location, so it's in the Northeast. It has agricultural engineering, and it's an academic match for me. So I can favorite this school and I can remember it. The other thing I can do is I can just come back to college lookup, and I can just look up the name of any school, right? So this is a quick list. I can look by state. Let's just say I wanted to find all of the schools in California. This is all of the schools that exist in California. And it's going to keep on going down and keep on going down and keep on going down. And you'll see that there are schools that are outside of California. Oh, I timed out. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, so I'm back in here. I'm back at looking at college lookup. I'm looking at my state. I'm looking at California. Because so many schools have online opportunities now, it might show me schools that are outside of California or outside of a state that I'm looking at, because they'll have like satellite campuses or online campuses. But it looks like it's returned to mostly California. And so I can just look at all these different schools. And you can see there's beauty schools in here. So it's not just four-year colleges and universities. There's also trade schools and things like that that you can look at. So we looked at the self-discovery, that's learning about us. We looked at the careers, and that's exploring either big pathways that are general, like education would be a big pathway, and then teacher would be a specific job within that, would be a career within that pathway. We looked at colleges and different ways to explore. You have all these different things that you can look at. One other thing I want to show you is under the colleges tab, they have scholarships. So you can look, if I look at scholarship list, it's going to show me scholarships that are local. So these are all within Antelope Valley. So that means there's going to be usually smaller amounts, but there's going to be less applicants. I can come back here, and that's just real simple from the colleges. You go to scholarships. It's really simple to navigate. You guys aren't going to break anything. I really encourage you to just come in here and explore. Another cool feature it has is if I come over here on the right-hand side and I click About Me, you can build a resume. And so it gives you an easy way to start to build it. So it says, we notice you haven't created a resume yet. To get started, select the plus button. So I'm going to do this, and then it's going to have me start entering information. And I can do this, and I can come to my summary, and I can add work experience, and I can add all these things I want to add to my resume. And then when I'm done, I can export my resume into like a PDF, or I can print it. And if I'm ever confused in the whole Naviance thing, I can come down here and click the Show Me How, and it's going to give me some guides on how to do these things. Like, how do I use research colleges? And then it'll give me a little guided tour. In addition to that, I have shared a Google folder with all of you. It has just some overview guides on how to do that. So if I couldn't remember how to do the resume builder, you can come in here and you can reference this document, and it's going to take you through the steps on how to do those things. And there's a couple different things in here. This is a Google Translate. So if you're a Spanish speaker, you feel more comfortable, you can add Google Translate to Naviance, and then this shows you how to do that. And then the page will appear in Spanish. If we go back to the Naviance home, remember you have access to this 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. You can access it from home. You just use your Google waffle, you scroll down to the Naviance icon, and then you can explore all of these things. Like I said, you're not going to break it. You're not going to hurt anything. I really encourage you to go in here and play around. Take some self-discovery things. Look at some different careers, explore colleges. And when you're exploring colleges, be realistic and find some colleges, use some of these different tools to find colleges that kind of fit what you're looking for. So if you guys have any questions, I believe we have the Q&A open. I think my time is up.
It is, and Q&A is definitely open. So if anyone wants to shoot a quick question, otherwise, thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you.